After 8 straight losses, can the Arizona Cardinals buck the trend and get JG his first dub against the Seattle Seahawks? Plus, we're breaking down Adam Schefter's report that suggests the Cardinals, Kyler Murray, a divorce is imminent. We're live at Gila. PHNX Cardinals pregame starts now. Hello and welcome in live from Gila River Resorts and Casinos at Wild Horse Pass. It's the PHNX Cardinals podcast here, your premier Arizona Cardinal podcast pregame show edition. I'm Johnny Venerable, joined as always by my co-host Bo Brack, Brittan Golden, the playmaker, former Arizona Cardinal wide receiver, Noah Man behind the mic, full wall-to-wall coverage here as the Arizona Cardinals travel to the Pac Northwest to take on the division-leading Seattle Seahawks. I want to remind everybody, this pregame brought to you by our friends at Gila River Resorts and Casinos. Visit playathila.com. Bo, jam-packed day, jam-packed pregame. So much to break down, but we got to start with this news, this report. Adam Schefter suggesting Kyler Murray donezo with the Arizona Cardinals.
Yeah, it was a nice little Saturday read for everybody. And look, if you've been listening to this show, you kind of were prepared for this, right? If you weren't, it might have come on you a little quick. But as far as the Arizona Cardinals and Kyler Murray, as he's been put on IR, as the team says that they hope he can come back this season, you read this report, that's more and more unlikely. According to Adam Schefter and a source close to the situation, he says that separation is imminent between Kyler Murray and the Arizona Cardinals. And Brittan, I think that this is probably the most likely scenario. This is probably the path forward for all parties involved, as Kyler Murray is now in his 7th season, and you're seeing, the offense be more productive with Jacoby Brissett in there. So utilizing the injury is maybe a soft benching, and then as far as what happens in the future, it just seems like, hey, this can be an amicable parting of ways for both parties.
Yeah, and I think we've kind of noticed it over the last couple of weeks, just with the progress and the success that Jacoby's had in there. It was imminent. You knew something was coming up. And then we kind of had our feelings before it happened, and then we put him on IR. Like you said, it's just one of those without saying that we're going to put him on the bench. We're just going to use an injury where he looks like he was healthy before the game last week. It's just kind of those situations where you put him on IR to avoid having to say, hey, we're benching him and we're going with the backup. But like you said, I think it's a good way for both sides to kind of part ways in good terms and allow him to find somewhere else to go, and hopefully, everything goes well for him in the future. But it's just there's no way back from where you're at now. I just don't think that you can go back to something like that and then continue to have a locker room. It would just I just don't think it would work. Yeah,
you get this report. It coincides with what we've been suggesting. Monty Ossenford goes on local radio this week and as a good salesman is basically saying Kyler Murray could come back and we're going to reconvene at 4 weeks and blah, blah, blah. Listen, two schools of thought. He's either hurt or he's not available, and the Cardinals win with Jacoby Brissett, where you're not benching Jacoby Brissett after a month. And then on the flip side, if the season's lost, you're not putting Kyler Murray out there susceptible to injury. He's going to be healthy and ready to go, still under 30 years old, come the offseason, and they're going to have an opportunity to try to move him. Now, what that package looks like, we've talked to people close to the situation who feel like a day 2 pick is reasonable. Look around the NFL right now. There's not a ton of veteran quality quarterbacks that are going to be available. This draft class, we're going to have to see who declares. I think Kyler Murray, basically on a 1-year deal, Bo, could be enticing for Jets, Saints, maybe the Dolphins, and certainly some of these teams that are outside the Cardinals division that are looking for a reset, which is what Kyler Murray probably needs right now.
Yeah, it's a simple supply-demand situation. You turn on the TV on NFL Sundays and you see a lot of bad quarterback play, but the biggest key here, guys, is that this remains amicable.
Yeah.
Right? This says that all parties involved here seem to be on the same page. Sometimes in the divorce, things don't always stay on the same page. He said this, he said that. We saw it in a public negotiation as far as Kyler Murray and the old regime and the old general manager where things got ugly. The best path forward here is things to remain, nice and everybody kind of staying low. And then when asked about it, you say all the right things. But it does seem to me, it's just following the tea leaves as far as this, and as it's heading towards the parting of ways, is that everybody understands, sees the writing on the wall here, that they would probably all benefit from going their own direction here in the offseason. And the best way to get through these next 10 weeks is to stay under the radar and then keep Kyler Murray's value where it needs to be. But what we've seen, it's the reality in the NFL for people who out there, the Kyler truthers, and we are big Kyler supporters on this show, is you don't get 8 seasons to do this. You can't point to the OC and say he wasn't the right fit. You can't point to the previous 6 seasons before that and say, hey, all these variables. Most of the time you get 1, 2, 3 years.
Right.
This is 8 years, and I think that one of the key parts here, guys, is somebody who does support K1 and wants to see him succeed. And unfortunately, it didn't happen here in the Valley. Is this doesn't shut the door on Kyler Murray to be an NFL quarterback. This doesn't shut the door on him to be successful. I think that the road doesn't end here for K1 as far as him being a successful player in this league. But unfortunately, it looks like the journey is ending here in the Valley.
Yeah, that'll be it I think it's on the wall. It's done. I think it's got to be over here. And like you said, looking around the league, there's plenty of teams out here that need a veteran presence at quarterback. We got one on the screen in front of us that probably should have pulled the trigger on the trade deadline.
You couldn't have done this last week. J.J. McCarthy couldn't have looked like ass a week ago.
He probably should have pulled that trade deadline thing there, but yeah.
Well, it'll be interesting. I'm sure there will be people today, if Jacoby Brissett doesn't play well, say, oh, you made a mistake, right? And the Cardinals, they've made their bed, for better or worse. They're going to stick with their decision. Let's focus on today, and let's focus on the inactives, Bo Brock. It is a little bit of murderer's row here for the Arizona Cardinals.
Kind of a bloodbath.
Yeah, on the defensive side, you're missing 2 of your 3 top corners, Will Johnson and Max Melton, both out. And then, of course, Green Dot captain Mack Wilson Sr. also out. Everybody else a healthy scratch. Cardinals have to feel at least a little bit of solace in that Cody Simon played well in relief. Last week on Monday Night Football, you've got Denzel Burke, who's seemingly been playing well all season, and Keitrell Clark, who played well against Seattle, a month ago. You're not sticking guys in there cold. Is it a loss? Absolutely, but other guys are just going to have to step up. That's the NFL.
Yeah, and Brittan, the last time we watched these two teams play, there was no Will Johnson out there.
Yeah.
Max Melton was coming off what we thought was going to be a more serious knee injury. He was able to kind of grit it out, and there was no Garrett Williams, and there is Garrett Williams today. And as Johnny said, you got the off-ball linebacker Cody Simon in the sample size. You've seen him. He's been productive. And he's a guy that does kind of get in rhythm and trend up the more often he plays. So, I'm looking at this, Brittan, where it's just it'd be tough to overcome, but you got 97 in there now for the second consecutive week. I loved what we saw with the addition of Walter Nolen, and I think that front 7 could help, ease not being at full strength in the defensive secondary.
I agree. And that's on any team on any given Sunday. You got to realize that having a really good front 7 can make up for having a not necessarily a bad back end, but a depleted back end.
Yes.
Right? You got guys that haven't had a whole lot of playing time this year that are going to see the field for the majority of the game today. So to help make up for some of that, it's good. You got Calais, you got Walter Nolen in his second game, right? He had a great first game, great debut. Just to kind of put that together, it's a lot of that's gonna fall on that front 7 today for the defense. Can you generate pressure? Can you force Sam Darnold into situations where he tries to turn the ball over? Because he'll do it if you put him under pressure.
I can't tell you how many games I've watched as a Cardinal fan, and we have heard opposing secondaries are out, and the Cardinals not being able to take advantage, right? Oh my goodness, so and so's out at corner and blah blah blah. But you hit the nail on the head. If that front 7 gets pressure, that's the magic elixir first and foremost. This is a line of scrimmage league. And this is a line of scrimmage game.
It's not you and me back there. It's Denzel Burke, who's as competitive as they come. Keitrell Clark, too, had a really good game against the Seahawks last night. The Thursday night broadcast panned to John Schneider in his booth. Who the hell's 13? Keitrell went out there and blew up JSN.
Yeah.
If he can make splash plays and then the defensive front 7, put them in positions where Sam Darnold is throwing balls that he doesn't feel comfortable throwing, like I like the chances.
I do too. Cardinals like their chances with Jacoby Brissett, his 4th start as we jump into the Birdgang Blitz. Jacoby Brissett, after 3 games for the Arizona Cardinals, just 1 interception, multiple touchdown passes in each of the 3 games, and of course, on averaging just under 300 yards passing per game. First to do that with his first team since Kurt Warner circa 1999 with the St. Louis Rams. But this is the first true test because the expectations, I mean, they played good teams. They played the Packers. They played the Colts. You know, Monday Night Football was a nice appetizer. But this is the first time where nationally it's like, okay, Jacoby, this is your team for the rest of the year. This is a team that on the opposite side, people are drooling over Bo. The Seattle Seahawks, they're anointing them. A team that your head coach, we're going to talk about, has been unable to defeat. Jacoby Brissett, his performance today, I think is going to says a lot about this fan base, his confidence for the rest of this year and maybe into next year.
Yeah, if he has a solid performance, which would be 4 strung together,
right, that
would silence a lot of doubters, a lot of haters out there. There's so many people that look at this defensive front 7 with Seattle, and I think that should, strike fear in any offense's hearts or any fan base that watches their team play against them, that they can be so disruptive, so game-wrecking with Leonard Williams, what he's doing, Byron Murphy II, that it's just going to be tough. But if Jacoby Brissett can continue to steady the waters and just play and stick in the pocket and make those throws and continue to push the ball downfield like he has with those 15, 20-yard passes, that would do a big job as far as kind of people changing their mind on who they think that Jacoby Brissett is, this journeyman career backup, and maybe he can just be somebody that continues in this role for the Cardinals this season in the interim, and then maybe pave a path forward for him beyond in 2026.
I agree, and Jacoby doesn't have to do anything different just because it's Seattle, just because it's a division game. All you need to do is go out and play the game that you've played these last 3 games. Right? Stand tall in the pocket, deliver the ball when you're there. If it's not there, just take care of the football. Right? Yeah. Don't force anything. Don't try to do anything out of the ordinary. If you got to take a sack, take the sack. If you can get rid of it, get rid of it. Just play the game that you've played the last 3 weeks. Keep getting everybody involved, receiver-wise and tight end-wise. He's distributing the ball really well, and that can really break down the defense on the back end. If you can just sit back there, it doesn't matter who they have back there. If you can pick them apart, right, it gets that front 7 slow for the Seahawks. They're tired, and now you can start generating big plays.
I think if he can force himself to continue to make smart decisions with the football, Cardinals are going to be in this game because I think we're going to talk about Cardinals defense poised to play well again. The only thing that you have to worry about for Jacoby is the pressure that could come from the right side at the hands of Jonah Williams, right? Like he can't account for, unregarded, untaken care of, pressures off the right side where he's blindsided or he gets a strip sack.
Have you saw the article from Theo Mackey this week, right? Where people were talking, and this is not an indictment on anybody else, but he was talking to different playmakers about what made Jacoby successful in pre-snap.
Yeah.
He was setting them up for success as far as where pressures were coming from, where he was expecting the blitz, and that's helped them up to kind of not circumvent it, right, but avoid disaster, avoid taking a blindside hit, which we really haven't seen from Jacoby Brissett. But they're willing to deal with it. Like, even when Kyler was in there the last time against Seattle, like, the game plan changed to where they were going to become pass first, and they were going to be willing to deal with negative plays as far as sacks. But if they could make and push balls downfield, they were going to be able to do that.
Yeah.
And, like, what we've seen with Jacoby Brissett, especially on third down, money downs, it's like you could sack him on first and second down. He's still alive, like very alive. This is the best third down team in the NFL since he entered the lineup.
Yeah, which is a stark contrast from what they were earlier this season with the combination of Kyler Murray and Drew Petzing. Hang on to the football. Don't turn it over. Cardinals going to be in this till the fourth quarter. On the defensive side, let's jump to it. Walter Nolen, what kind of encore can we expect from likely Brittan Golden, the best Cardinal rookie debut, certainly on the defensive side, that I can ever remember. It only rivals our producer Noah's jersey today, one Anquan Bolden circa 2003, 200-plus yards against Detroit.
Honey Badger was like he had the weight a little bit, right?
Right.
He got some,
I think he might have had a pick in his debut, but they lost the opener, I think, against New Orleans, I want to say. Walter Nolen on Monday Night Football, you guys saw the sack, 2 TFLs, 4 tackles, a batted ball, a dominant performance via PFF, box score, however you want to slice it, Brittan Golden. Is this the missing link for this team? What are your expectations here second week NFL action, Walter Nolen.
Well, the thing for Walt is he set the bar high for himself, for everybody else on that field. Like, he came in, he knew it was a debut. He knew he'd missed some time with the injury early on, and he came out there and he played a heck of a game. He balled out. He did what he was supposed to do. I think this is a guy, right, from what we've seen, this is a guy that's going to continue doing that. He's a high-motor guy. He's going to go out there. He's trying to make plays. He wants to make plays. Right, so I think we're going to get a lot of the same, what we saw last week. I think he generates pressure. I think he's stout in the run game, and I think he gets his hands on a couple of today too. I just think it's one of those guys that you know what you're going to get, right? And he's got a great leader with Calais Campbell in that same room, right, to just understand and know that, hey, you've got to bring that same type of energy week in and week out if you want to be a great player in this league.
You hope that it was not a one-week anomaly, not only for Walter Bowe, but for this defensive line of, like, Dallas, who has good line of scrimmage players. On offense, we know they're coached well by Clayton Adams. The combination of Calais, Walter, Josh Sweat, Zaven Collins, Baron Browning, these guys, hopefully this is a turning corner position for this team instead of, that Week 8 game on Monday Night Football, that was an outlier.
Right. I mean, we saw, steps in the right direction, but in the fourth quarter we saw this defense not be able to do what they wanted to.
Right.
You add a player like Walter Nolen to the mix, and that's what JG and Rollis want to be able to do in rushing for and winning quickly. Walter Nolen just has that skill set in order to do that, the size, the strength, the explosiveness. So is it putting a lot on a guy? Absolutely.
Right.
But also, like what Brittan's saying, like, he's fitting right in. He's not alone. He's not on an island. Like, you got big old Calais Campbell and all those career sacks in there playing right next to him, and then Josh Sweaty J coming off the edge like a madman like he did last game. I mean, I'd love to see it again. Like, Walter Nolen, Gray Zabel, the upstart, interior guard for the Seahawks. Sign me up for that matchup.
Yep, absolutely. One thing we didn't mention, or I didn't mention earlier, the Seattle Seahawks defense really gave Kyler Murray a tough time in their last several outings. Kyler Murray, I believe, has 5 interceptions against the Seahawks in his last 3 games played, dating back to last year. And again, that goes to show you, like, take care of the football against this defense. You've got an opportunity. Big opportunity for the Cardinals. We just mentioned it. Sam Darnold, been playing about as well as anybody at the quarterback position, but we know Sam Darnold. We've seen Sam Darnold, his resume. State Farm Stadium last year, seeing ghosts, right, against the L.A. Rams. What was the formula, Bo, that night, albeit for the Minnesota Vikings? Braden Fisk and Jared Verse and these defensive linemen got after Sam Darnold. Didn't matter that the Rams maybe didn't have great players in their secondary. Jordan Addison and Jay Jetta were basically null and void that outing because they got pressure, because Sam was skipping balls in the dirt. I know we just got done talking about the defensive line, but you cannot allow Darnold to operate via play action and sit in the pocket unscathed.
Right, and he's having a lot of success pushing the ball downfield. If you remove that and you maybe force him underneath a little bit, it sets up more. It gets deeper into downs, and then you can make a play defensively. But if he's just being efficient, he's able to do what he's been able to do all season long. Him and JSN be on the same page, and then Rashid Shaheed, who they're entering the equation too, speedster Brittan, that's a mix. That's a bad mix for the Cardinals on defense.
You got two. I mean, really, the main guy you have to stop right now is JSN.
Yeah.
Right, and that's all that starts with is what we've been talking about for the last 10 minutes with that front seven. All right, the Cardinals' front seven has to find ways to generate pressure. You've got to find ways to get Sam Darnold off the spot. Because if you allow him to just sit back in the pocket and he has no pressure and he's not worried about anything, JSN is a great route runner, great ball catcher, and he can make plays with the balls in his hands. Now you add Shaheed to the mix. Now you've got speed. Yeah. Right now you can get burned deep. Right. This is an instance where we talked about it earlier. You've got a couple backups in playing DB right now. Right. Yep. And not to say that they can't get the job done, but that's not who you want to see with a quarterback that has time.
Yep.
Because now you can push the ball downfield, and now you're in trouble. So a lot of the weight today is going to fall on the Cardinals' front seven on defense. Can you generate pressure? Can you get Sam Darnold out of the pocket? Make him, just try to scramble around and throw the ball, because at that point, that's where the ghosts come in, right? When he's moving around in the pocket trying to throw it, that's where that ball's up for grabs.
I think the Cardinals played Seattle about as good defensively as you could ask the first time around. Jackson Smith and Jigba, we talked about it, didn't really go off. they held Seattle to just 20 points until that last-second field goal. I think all of us would sign up for a similar performance today. And I think we're going to get a very comparable, if not better, defensive effort given the players that are available, Bo, in this front seven. Nick Rallis, Jonathan Gannon, they've done a nice job the last 2 years. I remember that matchup in Seattle last year. I mean, it was a defensive dominant game on both sides. Geno Smith didn't do much. And then that game in Glendale a year ago, it was the Kyler Murray 2 interceptions that set up 2 touchdowns for Seattle. So, again, I would caution everybody, especially Seahawks fans, that watched your squad beat up on a bad Commanders team for 38 points. It's like, let's pump the brakes here. That Commanders team, the caliber of athlete, you're going to see something different, I think, with the Cardinals today, Bo.
Well, I mean, what you're seeing from JSN is it doesn't happen often, and for him to extend that would be even more like unprecedented. Even we've seen like crazy numbers, but
right.
I mean, this is a guy that's gone 96, 103, 124. I mean, that was actually 129, 123, 162, 132.
Right.
That's his last 4 games.
Yeah.
Dude is a problem.
You don't think the Cardinals know that?
Yeah, his best, the best performance defensively against JSN, no doubt about it, was the Cardinals. He had 4 catches, 79 yards, and he had a 35-plus yarder to set up the game-winning score that he needed. Otherwise, pretty pedestrian and below-average performance to his standards. So can you replicate that? And as I pointed out, you didn't have Will Johnson. You had an not a healthy Max Melton. Now you have Garrett Williams in there and an improved pass rush. Can you do it again? Can you do it even better? I mean, that would give you a chance.
Speaking of giving you a chance, Cardinals with a win today, he's firmly back in it. Let's talk a little JG. No wins in his career, 0 against the Seattle Seahawks as head coach of this franchise. He's got 2 against San Francisco. He's got 1 against the LA Rams. Seattle already beaten the Cardinals once this year. The Cardinals have lost 8 straight to this franchise. This is a franchise, yes, they've won a lot of meaningful games. They haven't been the class of the NFC in a while. And, Kyler Murray, Cliff Kingsbury had some success. I mean, Brittan, you talk about monkey off your back, and you also increase the optics of Mike McDonald got a year later head start on his rebuild. I get it. The franchise was in a different position than the Cardinals. Also a defensive head coach. I mean, what's the pressure for JG under to have a good performance today?
I mean, a lot of pressure is the fact that you haven't won a game, right? You haven't beat the Seahawks yet in your tenure, right? And this is a team that is pretty good every single year, right? The Seahawks always put a good product on the field pretty much every year, at least since I've been around in this situation. But this is a team. If you win this game, you kind of are itching yourself back into the division, right? So I think it's a big one. It's one that JG needs to win. He kind of has to win at this point, right? Because this is a game where you've started to have success on offense, right? You've had minor successes on defense, right? You've had good defensive showings with bad offensive performances. But now your offense is moving the ball. Now your offense is putting yards up and putting points on the board. This is one of those where defense, it needs to click. Offense, defense, they need to both have really solid games for 4 quarters, not 2 quarters or 3 quarters. You got to do it all 4 quarters and try to get a win here.
Like grunge was popular last time they won a game in Seattle.
Is that why you got your flannel on today?
So I got the flannel, yeah. I think Nirvana had It Smells Like Teen Spirit was one of the top song. No, I mean, it hasn't been that long, but it feels like it, right? I mean, 8 games, and it wasn't even Kyler in there. It was Colt McCoy and Zach Ertz that were doing work on Seattle.
2 touchdowns that day.
2 tutties for Ertz. You got to get that. You have to switch that narrative up.
Yep.
Like you're not getting it's just going to give you unbelievable ability to kind of dig yourself out of this hole that you unfortunately dug yourself into during that 5-game losing skid. You get your win in the division and you can start to move forward, and people will continue to come back and regain some faith in you.
Yep. Well, regardless, Cardinals hoping to get their swag back on the road in those icy road white unis. I want to remind everybody the Game Day threads brought to you by our friends at Rally House. Pick up those icy whites today. They may or may not have Kyler Murray jerseys on clearance. We have seen that circulate, which is a tough scene on social media. But again, an icy white's an icy white. Remember, check out our friends at Rally House. Also, check out our friends at Bet365. It's time with Bet365 for our pregame picks. Sign up, use the bonus code PHNX365, deposit 10, place a $5 bet, get $200 in bonus bets. It's never ordinary. Got to be 21 years and older. If you were someone you know has a gambling problem, wants help, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP. Text next step to 53342 or visit problemgambling.az.gov for more info. The people wanted a big boy today. So I said, let's go 4 legs, and let's go cards heavy, baby, plus 1,900. Cardinals plus 7 at the recording of this pod, which is a little disrespectful. I like the Cardinals plus 7. I also like Marv to continue with his big play ways. You got Marv anytime touchdown plus 60-plus receiving yards. And then a little sprinkle for my guy Brittan Golden. He didn't get it Monday. Let's go Bam Night anytime tutty today. Plus 1,900. I am done going on Seattle. I don't want to favor them. I don't want to go over under BS. I'm going cards heavy, Bo.
I love it.
Kind of a knife in the back with the Bam
I'm sorry.
in there right there. Oh.
I mean, he was trying to give you a nod, but still, it did come off very
rude. I'm sorry.
disrespectful.
I'm a bad friend.
The plus 7 Cardinals 4-0 against the spread on the road. They've played tight across the board the entire season. I mean, I like the chances here. I like that. I mean, that's tremendous value there.
Not feeling it?
It's a plus 1,900, bub.
Those are your favorite kind of
Those are
bets.
my favorite kind of parlays,
absolutely.
but they're very rare when they slap.
Jeff in the chat saying, BG, you will be healed. Absolutely. We are here we're the medicine men. Let's get to some of these super chats here. Mr. Noah, as we continue to have some fun, hit that like button. We'll remind everybody we're going to be doing our watch along, so the party doesn't stop. We're live for like 5-6 hours today. Chaz, 199. Traquan McBride, 2 TDs coming, Bo.
We'd love to see it. We mentioned Zach Ertz a couple seasons ago. He went for 2 touchdowns against Seattle. Seattle seems to emphasize Trey McBride defensively, and he had a really successful, productive game against them, and he liked it because he had to work for it. Right? Can a guy like Marvin Harrison Jr. parlay his strong second half and open some things up for Traquan McHurdles? Love to see it.
Steve Kimesburner, 199. JG made Zaven Collins a legitimate pass rusher. He hasn't been able to finish yet, BG.
He's been back there.
Right. We saw the bull rush, and he's setting people up for sacks, Josh Sweat, etc.
Calais said this. He asked Zaven, he's like, what do you hate sacks? Because he's setting everybody else up with that bull rush.
Right.
And guys like Calais, Sweaty J are benefiting from it. So maybe they send him.
He's kind of like the receiver on the other side that catches the 98-yard pass and goes down on the 1-yard line to give his running back buddy the touchdown.
$10 super chat from our guy Shaft, who's in attendance today. Everyone in the family needs to have an MHJ jersey. So from all the diehards to the youngest member of the family, how about it? Well, let's do it.
Yeah.
Coup de grace, let's open up.
Our guy Shaft showed up today bearing gifts. I'm blown away by the generosity. He says this is from him and the diehards.
Wow, unbelievable.
And, I think we got a good feel of who's in it or what's in here. My goodness.
Oh, man.
It is a mini Marvin Harrison Jr. T-shirt
wow,
jersey.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Shaft.
For my 4-month-old Luke at home. He's going to be styling and profiling with MHJ Marv for the foreseeable future.
It's a special community. You can see it. We got a banner turnout here at Gila River Resorts and Casinos. We're fired up. Food and vibes are immaculate. Gifts are being handed out. I don't have a gift yet. That's disappointing.
Yeah,
Martin.
We're not surprised.
$5 if Jacoby plays well for the rest of the season. Does that affect Kyler's trade stock? Great show, guys. Let's get that dub. Martin, we appreciate you, my guy. I don't think so. I think people look at Kyler Murray, 2-to-1 touchdown interception ratio. He's never been a player that historically has turned the ball over a lot.
Yeah.
I think the biggest knock on Kyler is health and probably the scheme that he played in. I think, listen, look around the league today. Look who's starting for the Browns and the Jets and some of these franchises. If Jacoby Brissett plays well, in my opinion, Brittan, that's a coup for somebody to say, well, if Jacoby Brissett's playing well in this league and Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield have had comeback stories, well, certainly we could take number 1 overall pick Kyler Murray and get him from where he's at to the next level.
I think that's correct. And a lot of it goes back to what we've spoken about the last couple of weeks. Like, I think it's just the NFL is about being in the right system.
Right.
It's about finding a scheme that works for you, that you can succeed in, and I just don't believe that this has been the one for Kyler. It just hasn't been, especially with this regime, it hasn't had. So I'm hopeful that it's, a good party of the ways, and, he gets somewhere where, he's good and he's got a scheme that works for him and he can go in and have success.
We got one more super chat. Icy Whites from Evan. Absolutely. My favorite uniforms the Cardinals have. Can it get them inching closer back into relevancy here in 2025? A reminder, We're not going anywhere. We're staying live for the remainder of the day. Jump on over from this stream to our watch-along. Cards kickoff is imminent in just a couple minutes. But if you're in the area, come out, Bo. Hang with us here at Gila River Resorts and Casinos. It's a banner time here in the Valley.
Yeah, come out, play some games, hit the craps, hit the slots, hit the sports book, and then also get some great food. I see Noah's got some delicious food already delivered to him. I'm jealous of that. Big thank you to our diehard community for getting this. Also, we got Dusty Cooks jumping in.
Let's keep the vibes alive. $10. Thank you so much, Dusty. Absolutely. This is the ultimate season, just like the Lions had before they became relevant, ripping off wins till the end. I think, I'm not saying I started a movement. I picked the Cardinals on Friday to win. And I put out a tweet that a lot of people took stock in, saying that the streets are saying Cards money line this weekend. A lot of Seahawks fans were upset by that. Now you're slowly starting to see like Cardinal fans waking up today. Saw our friend Mr. AZ Sports, other people saying, are the Cardinals going to win today? I know. Are you going to revise your prediction?
They got to continue to prove me wrong.
Okay.
And but look, I mean, Johnny's so confident. He took, of course, the spread. He didn't take a money line. So.
Yeah. No, I took in our parlay. That's a little bit of a buffer. Brittan, do you think the Cardinals have a shot?
I don't have a prediction, but I
think they have a shot. Yeah,
there's
absolutely.
a shot for sure. There's a shot, but a lot of it's going to be like what we talked about offensively.
Yeah.
Right. You've got to continue to move the ball downfield, but you've got to score touchdowns.
Yep.
If you can put touchdowns on the board, things change. And defensively, you got to do the same thing. You've got to keep touchdowns off the board.
Yeah.
Right. If you can do that for 4 quarters, which we have not seen all season long, if you can do that for 4 quarters, I think there's a real opportunity for you to win this game.
Do us a favor. Hit that like button. Subscribe to PHNX Sports here on YouTube. You've asked for the watch-alongs. They are back right around the corner. Jump into the live stream for Bo, Brittan, Noah. I'm Johnny Venerable from Gila. We'll see you on the halftime show.
We all silly like the mayor.